Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to tell you could save your life or destroy it. The choice you make in the next 20 minutes will determine which path you take. Stop everything you're doing right now, because this could be the most important message you ever hear. Your window of neuroplasticity closes at midnight tonight. After that, the neural pathways you've carved through years of complaining become permanent highways to misery. You have exactly one chance to rewire your brain before it's too late. How many things could you complain about in the next 60 seconds if you really wanted to? The person sitting next to you breathing too loudly, the uncomfortable chair, your aching back, your boss, your spouse, your weight, your bank account. But here's the terrifying truth that will shock you to your core. Every single complaint you make is literally killing you. Not metaphorically, not eventually, right now, in this moment. Your complaint habit is poisoning your bloodstream, shrinking your brain, and programming you for a lifetime of misery. Stanford researchers discovered something so horrifying about complainers that they buried the study for 3 years. Complainers don't just die 7 years earlier. They develop dementia-like brain damage patterns. Your complaint habit is giving you Alzheimer's-level neural destruction while you're still young. I've been studying human consciousness for over 4 decades, and I must confess something that nearly destroyed my own life. 20 years ago, I almost lost everything to this pattern myself. I was so consumed with what was wrong in my career, my relationships, my health, that I became radioactive to every good thing trying to enter my life. I watched opportunities slip away. I saw people I loved distance themselves from my toxic energy. I felt my own mind becoming a prison of negativity. I caught myself just in time, but barely. I'm sharing this vulnerability because Here's what Harvard scientists just discovered that will terrify you. People who complain regularly have 340% higher stroke risk. Their telomeres, the protective caps on chromosomes, shrink at 3 times the normal rate. You're literally aging yourself to death with every complaint. But wait, there's something even more horrifying. Dr. Robert Sapolsky found that just being around complainers for 30 minutes physically damages the neurons in your brain. MIT researchers proved that negative emotions spread through groups like a virus, infecting everyone within 6 degrees of separation. You're not just poisoning yourself, you're destroying everyone you love. Your complaint habit is costing you everything. The average complainer loses $47,000, 0 cents over their lifetime, earns 47% less than positive people, and becomes invisible to opportunities. Your negative energy repels success like a force field. You're unconsciously sabotaging every good thing trying to reach you. Stop. This next part is so critical that if you miss it, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. You need to understand this immediately or face catastrophic consequences. Your brain doesn't distinguish between what you're looking for and what you're complaining about. When you focus on problems, you're programming your neural pathways to become problem-detecting machines that manufacture suffering when none exists. Your reticular activating system becomes so efficient at finding problems that it starts creating them. You literally begin living in a nightmare world that your own mind constructed. Children of complainers show depression markers by age 7. You're programming the next generation for failure before they can even defend themselves. Let me tell you about Jennifer, a marketing executive whose complaint habit triggered a catastrophic domino effect that nearly destroyed everything she loved. Jennifer woke up Monday morning and immediately noticed it was raining. Perfect, she muttered. Another disaster. She focused on every red light, every slow driver, every pothole like a heat-seeking missile for misery. At work, she zeroed in on her colleague's messy desk, her manager's grumpy expression, the broken printer. By lunch, Jennifer had collected enough evidence to prove that life was conspiring against her. She vented to 3 different people, called her sister to complain, and spent her lunch break poisoning anyone who would listen. But here's what Jennifer didn't know that almost cost her everything. Her colleague Marcus experienced the exact same Monday, but lived in a completely different reality. He noticed the rain making everything fresh and clean. He enjoyed his favorite radio show during traffic. He found humor in his manager's Monday mood. Within 6 months, the results were devastating. Marcus got promoted while Jennifer was passed over. He met his future wife at a coffee shop while Jennifer's relationship crumbled under the weight of her constant negativity. His health improved while Jennifer developed stress panic attacks that landed her in the emergency room. But here's the part that will terrify you about what I discovered next. Jennifer's 8-year-old daughter started copying her complaint patterns. This innocent child began approaching each day expecting problems, looking for what was wrong, programming her young brain for a lifetime of misery. Jennifer wasn't just destroying her own life. She was stealing her daughter's natural joy and replacing it with learned helplessness. People unconsciously avoid complainers within 90 seconds. Jennifer's friends started declining her invitations. Her family dreaded her phone calls. She was building an invisible prison around herself, becoming radioactive to positive people while attracting other toxic complainers who reinforced her victim mentality. But the worst was yet to come. Jennifer's complaint addiction proved harder to break than cocaine dependency. When she finally realized what was happening, the neural pathways were so deeply carved that every attempt to change felt like fighting against her own identity. You must understand this life or death distinction immediately. Complaining and problem-solving are opposite mental activities. Dr. Barbara Fredrickson's research proves that negative emotions literally shrink your brain's ability to see solutions by 67%. Your complaint habit is making you dumber, weaker, and more helpless every single day. When you complain, you're training your mind to be a professional victim. When you problem solve, you're training your mind to be a creator. One destroys your life, the other transforms it. Let me tell you about Marcus Thompson, a construction worker who came to my workshop in complete desperation. Marcus had lost 3 jobs in 2 years. His wife had filed for divorce. His teenage son refused to speak to him, and his doctor warned him that his stress-induced heart problems could kill him at any moment. Wait, because what happened next will shock you to your absolute core. Marcus had unknowingly trained himself to expect failure so completely that he was unconsciously sabotaging every opportunity that came his way. His complaint habit had rewired his brain to spot problems before solutions, to see obstacles before opportunities, to expect rejection before acceptance. When I asked Marcus to name one good thing that happened recently, he literally couldn't think of anything. His brain had become so addicted to negative patterns that positive experiences couldn't even register in his awareness anymore. He was living in hell while heaven existed all around him. But then something miraculous happened that saved his life. Instead of letting Marcus list more problems, I forced him to describe exactly what a perfect day would look like. In that moment, his entire physiology transformed. His voice strengthened, His posture straightened, his eyes lit up with possibility for the first time in years. Marcus discovered something that will change your life forever. He had more power over his reality than he ever imagined. Within 6 months, he turned everything around. His wife canceled the divorce. His son started respecting him again. His health improved dramatically. His new business flourished. The only thing that changed was what he trained his mind to focus on. But here's the terrifying part. If Marcus had waited even 1 more month, his cardiologist said the stress damage would have been irreversible. He was literally days away from the point of no return. Here's the life-changing truth you absolutely must grasp or lose everything. Every single minute you spend complaining about something you can't control is a minute stolen from something you can influence. Every conversation focused on what's wrong could have focused on what's possible. You're literally trading your future for the temporary satisfaction of being right about what's wrong. Right now, as you sit here, you're probably already thinking of excuses. But Wayne, you don't understand my situation. My problems are real. This is different. That voice making excuses, that's not you talking. That's the complaint virus protecting itself. Your resistance to this message proves how deep the addiction goes. You've probably complained at least 3 times today already about the traffic getting here, about the temperature in this room, about something someone said or didn't say. Each complaint injected stress hormones into your bloodstream, activated your sympathetic nervous system, and reinforced the neural pathways that are destroying your life. This isn't just about positive thinking. This is about survival. Your complaint habit is a cancer that spreads to every area of your life, destroying relationships, sabotaging opportunities, and programming you for failure. Your DNA is being rewritten for misery with every negative thought. But wait, here's the most terrifying part you absolutely cannot ignore. Your complaint habit is contagious and deadly. Studies show that negative emotions spread faster and more powerfully than positive ones. You're not just destroying your own life, you're poisoning everyone you love. Your spouse stops loving you 3% more each day you complain. Your children lose respect for you with every negative word. Let me tell you about Sophia, a teacher who almost destroyed her entire family before she discovered this truth. Sophia started every morning reading the newspaper and watching the news, absorbing every crisis and problem in the world. She discussed these disasters at breakfast, creating an atmosphere of anxiety that poisoned everyone's day. Sophia thought she was being informed, but she was actually programming her family's minds to expect catastrophe. Her children started approaching each day with dread. Her husband became increasingly depressed about their future. Their home became a breeding ground for learned helplessness and despair. Here's what happened when Sophia made one change that saved her family. Instead of starting with problems, she began each day with possibilities. Instead of discussing what was wrong with the world, she talked about what was working in their lives and what they were excited about. The transformation was miraculous. Her children became more resilient and creative. Her husband started noticing opportunities he'd overlooked for years. Their entire family dynamic shifted from survival mode to thriving mode in less than 30 days. But here's the shocking part. Sophia discovered she had been unconsciously choosing misery for 20 years. Every morning, she had the power to program her family for success or failure. And she had been choosing failure without realizing it. Now let me paint you a picture of your future if you don't change everything today. It's 10 years from now. You're sitting alone in a small apartment because your constant negativity drove away everyone who ever loved you. Your children rarely visit because they can't stand your toxic energy. Your spouse left years ago, taking half your assets and most of your friends. Your health is deteriorating from decades of stress hormones coursing through your system. You have no real friendships because positive people learn to avoid you. You're surrounded only by other complainers, feeding off each other's misery in an endless cycle of victimhood and blame. You spend your days consumed with regret, complaining about how unfair life has been, never realizing that you created this prison with your own thoughts. This is your future, unless you change everything today. Now I'm going to give you a practice that will save your life starting today. For the next 7 days, you must become aware of every complaint that enters your mind or comes out of your mouth. This isn't optional. Your future depends on it. Don't try to stop complaining yet. Just notice with the intensity of someone whose life is on the line. Set an alarm for every hour and ask yourself, what have I complained about in the last 60 minutes? You'll be horrified at how often you focus on what's wrong. The slow service at restaurants, the long grocery line, the annoying neighbor, the traffic, the weather, your car making strange noises. Each complaint is literally injecting poison into your bloodstream, activating your stress response, and carving deeper grooves in the neural pathways that are destroying your life. After age 40, these patterns become 90% harder to change. You're running out of time. Then, when you catch yourself complaining, ask this life-saving question. What would I rather focus on right now? If you can act on the problem, act immediately. If you can't change it, practice radical acceptance and redirect your energy towards something constructive. This practice will reveal something that will shock you. You have far more choice about your attention than you ever realized. Your complaints are habits, not requirements. They're patterns you can change before they kill you. But here's the most important warning you absolutely cannot miss. What do you do when others around you are complaining constantly? You need a survival strategy because complaint energy is more contagious than any virus. It will infect you within minutes if you're not prepared. When someone you care about is drowning in complaints, you can acknowledge their pain without joining their misery party. Say something like, I can see you're struggling. What do you think might help? This redirects them from problem to possibility without being preachy. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is refuse to participate in someone's complaint session. Your refusal to enable their toxic pattern might be the wake-up call that saves their life. You might be their last hope for breaking free from the addiction that's destroying them. You must understand this life or death distinction. There's a massive difference between complaining and advocating for change. When Martin Luther King Jr. spoke about injustice, he wasn't complaining. He was creating a vision. He said, I have a dream, not I have a complaint. Complainers focus on what's wrong and die there. Advocates acknowledge what's wrong and create what's possible. One destroys lives. The other transforms the world. Here's the truth that will either set you free or haunt you forever. The people who create extraordinary lives have what I call solution consciousness. They've trained their minds to look for what's possible rather than what's wrong. They ask, how can this be better? Instead of, why is this so terrible? This isn't about being naive. This is about survival. Your attention is your most valuable resource, and how you invest it determines whether you thrive or die. The people living the most fulfilling lives aren't those who encounter the fewest problems. They're people who've trained their minds to find opportunity in every challenge, to mine gold from difficulties instead of collecting evidence of how hard life is. You have this exact same capacity, but you must activate it immediately. Every day you delay is another day of brain damage, another day of missed opportunities, another day of programming yourself and your loved ones for failure. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess, but it will focus on whatever you teach it to focus on. If you teach it to look for problems, it becomes a problem-generating machine that destroys everything you touch. If you teach it to look for possibilities, it becomes a miracle-creating system that transforms everything around you. You might be thinking, this doesn't apply to you. That's the addiction talking. You might believe your problems are different, more real, more justified. That's the virus protecting itself. The voice in your head making excuses right now is not your wisdom speaking. It's the complaint pattern fighting for its survival. Consider Einstein's warning. There are only two ways to live. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. The complainer chooses death. The possibility-focused person chooses life. As I've said many times, when you squeeze an orange juice comes out, because that's what's inside. When life squeezes you, what emerges reveals what you've filled yourself with. If you filled yourself with complaints, that poison flows out under pressure. If you filled yourself with possibility, that healing energy emerges during challenges. The world is drowning in people focused on what's wrong. What we desperately need are people focused on what's possible. People who see solutions where others see only problems. People who create hope where others create despair. You can be one of those people, but you must decide right now. You cannot wait another day, another hour, another minute. Your future and the future of everyone you love hangs in the balance. This is your moment of truth, your point of no return. You have exactly 72 hours before the damage becomes irreversible. Every second you delay is another second of permanent brain damage. Every complaint you make from this moment forward is a choice to destroy rather than create. Every conversation you have will either poison or heal the people around you. The next words out of your mouth will either heal or harm. The next thought you think will either create or destroy. Your spouse is watching. Your children are listening. Your future self is pleading with you to choose wisely. You must decide right now, will you be a victim who complains about life? Or will you be a victor who creates life? Will you be a source of toxicity that destroys everything you touch? Or will you be a source of healing that transforms everything around you? Your mind is waiting for new instructions. Your life is waiting for a new direction. Your future is waiting for you to stop choosing misery and start choosing miracles. Remember, you cannot always control what goes on outside, but you can always control what goes on inside. This control is not just your opportunity, it's your responsibility to yourself and everyone whose life you touch. Your transformation begins with your very next breath. Make it count, because everything, your health, your relationships, your children's future, your legacy, everything depends on it. The clock is ticking. Your window is closing. Choose now.